Every hero has to face a giant at some point. We're no exception. It was the biggest bully we'd ever seen. He made fun of our religion, of our people. And every day he'd come up to our border and shout, "Hey, you Israelites, why don't one of you come out and fight me? If you're so tough, that is." But all of our best soldiers were afraid. Nobody wanted to risk their life to take on this guy. So day after day, he just kept making fun of us and our people, and none of our soldiers had the guts to step up and do something about it. And then one day, this skinny kid shows up. He wasn't a soldier. He was just a shepherd. He just left his sheep in the field to come hang out with his big brother who was also in the army. But everyone was like, "Oh great, here comes another loser who thinks they're gonna go up against Goliath." Ha ha. Except this kid didn't seem intimidated at all. In fact, when Goliath approached and started making fun of them, the kid just looked at him and said, "What did you say about me? What did you say about my family?" And Goliath just kept coming. He thought he finally had the scaredy cat cornered, but instead of running away or hiding behind his bigger brothers, he just stood his ground and pulled a little rock out of his bag, loaded it into his sling, and took aim at the giant. Then he let it fly. The rock hit the giant right between the eyes and knocked him clean out. Now, most kids would have been terrified to face off against someone as big and strong as Goliath. But this kid didn't even break a sweat. He simply dusted himself off, picked up a spare rock in case Goliath got back up, and came back for more. But he never needed it. That one rock was enough to knock out the biggest bully this kid had ever known. If you know the story, you know that kid was David, the future king of Israel. And that rock wasn't just a rock. It was a symbol of faith. That rock was proof that God keeps his promises. David knew that if he put his trust in God, God would be faithful to him. You see, David wasn't some super soldier. He wasn't some highly trained military strategist. He wasn't even a grown man. He was just a teenager. And yet he faced down the biggest, baddest bully that Israel had ever seen. How did he do it? With one small stone. How did he win against all odds? With faith in God. When David went up against Goliath, everybody thought he was crazy. They thought he was a dead man walking. The people who watched the battle every day thought they already knew how it was going to end. But David didn't worry about what they thought. He didn't try to impress anyone else with fancy training or high-tech weapons. He didn't need those things because he had something far better, something that gave him the confidence to stand up to bullies and beat them. He had faith. Now, that doesn't mean that David didn't train. In fact, he was a master marksman, as good with a staff as he was with a sling. And he knew how to hunt and fight wild animals, which helped him when he faced off against bears and lions that attacked his sheep. But when it came time to face Goliath, David didn't use his sword or his spear or any other weapon that he was trained with. He used a sling. Why? Because David knew that a sling was all he needed to win the battle. A sling was all he needed to defeat the giant. And not only defeat him, but defeat him without putting himself in any real danger. You see, David didn't try to impress anyone with his looks or his status or his possessions. He didn't boast or brag or make excuses. He didn't complain about the size of the bully or his own lack of training or experience. He didn't think he could win by being bigger, stronger, or smarter than Goliath. He knew that he could win by being bolder, by being more creative, by using what he had to take out someone bigger than him. And that's exactly what he did. Think about how much pressure David was under. Everyone was watching. All of Israel's hopes rested on his shoulders. They were depending on him to save their country from this giant. But he didn't let the pressure get to him. Instead, he rose to the occasion. He didn't run away or hide or get scared. He stood his ground and he faced the music. But perhaps the most important thing that David did was declare victory before the battle even began. You see, when David was just a young boy, he heard his father say that God had delivered him out of the paws of a lion and the paws of a bear. When David became a man, he had similar victories. God helped him defeat a giant spider and a giant scorpion. So David knew that God was with him. And he knew that if he trusted God, God would help him defeat Goliath, too. But David didn't just say, "God will help me." He actually took action. He chose to believe that God would be faithful to him. He took steps to put that faith into action. He gathered 5 smooth stones, picked out the right one, and loaded it into his sling. Then he let it fly. Now, I'm not saying that you should always go up against the Goliaths in your life. Sometimes it's better to walk away from a bully than to try to fight them. But sometimes the only way to defeat a giant is to go head-to-head with them. And that's what David did. He didn't let fear or doubt hold him back. He didn't complain about his circumstances or make excuses about why he couldn't win. He just got up and did it. He trusted God and he acted boldly. And you know what happened? He won. He defeated the giant and saved his people. He became a hero, not because he was perfect, but because he was willing to do what others wouldn't. He was willing to step up and face the bully when everyone else was afraid. So remember this, no matter what giants you may be facing today, remember that God is on your side. Trust him and be bold. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. Don't complain or make excuses. Just get up and do it. Take the first step, then the next, then the next. Before you know it, you'll be standing toe-to-toe with your giant, and you'll be ready to take them on. And remember, that one small step for you can be a giant leap for your whole family. When David defeated Goliath, he didn't just win for himself, he won for everyone who followed him and believed in him. He became the hero of Israel. So, what giants are you facing today? Is there a bully in your life that you need to stand up to? Maybe it is a problem at work or a difficult relationship or a bad habit that you just can't seem to break free from. Whatever it is, know this, you have the power within you to defeat that giant. You have the strength, the courage, and the faith to overcome anything that stands against you. Just remember the story of David and Goliath. Remember that no matter how big or how scary the giant is, you don't have to cower in fear. You don't have to give up. You don't have to make excuses. You just have to be bold. Just have faith in yourself, in your abilities, and in your God. Because remember, it was a very ordinary boy who took on an extraordinary bully. It was a kid with nothing but a sling and a handful of rocks who defeated the biggest, baddest warrior that the Philistines had ever seen. And it was a teenager with unwavering faith in God who became the hero of an entire nation. So don't let anyone tell you that you're too small or too weak or too inexperienced to make a difference in the world. You have all the tools you need to defeat the giants in your own life. You just have to be bold. You just have to have faith. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching this video.